Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how to do ribbon patchwork. You fold the ribbons to create a design, also known as Somerset Patchwork. Ribbon patchwork, also known as Somerset Patchwork, it's the art of folding ribbon and sewing it in place to create this wonderful design of little triangles. Little bit of preparation work before we get sewing. You need some fabric. This is polycotton, but you could use sheeting, something where just the needle and thread will pass through. You're not passing any of the ribbons through. This is a protractor, not used since school, and a needle. We want to mark out the 4 points of your right angle. So just little dots, that's all that's needed. You now need to divide your right angles in half. So 1, 2, 3, 45. 1, 2, 3, 4, 45. Whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 45. Okay, now you have to divide your quarters again. 1, 2. This is just the groundwork. Once you've got this done, it makes the rest of the sewing much easier. So it's important to get this stage right, get your points in the correct position. So remove your protractor and you're just left with dots. Taking a ruler, join your first dots together. So we're going straight across and then down. That gives you your 4 right angles. Now you want to half those, making sure you line up through the centre point. Same on the other side. Take your time and get it right. These are your major crosses, but as you get, so these lines are your major lines, but as you get further round, you need to add in these extra ones, and that's what these lines are for. Now we don't want to confuse these lines with the other major ones, so we can only just put them in. Last set. That's it, all your drawing done. Much easier if you work in a hoop. You don't have to, but you will find that it controls the fabric nicely and you're left with just the pleasure of playing with the ribbons. Okay, perfect. Now we want to cover that centre section, and I'm using red gingham. This is 25mm wide, and I just want a section just to cover it, just in case that you haven't quite folded your ribbons correctly. You just don't want to see the fabric underneath. Normal needle and thread, popped a little knot underneath. Come up, secured with a knot, but just do an extra stitch just in case, and you only need to tack this in place. All the way around. stitches will be hidden, so you don't have to worry about them at all. Take the needle down, turn it upside down, and you can still see your centre mark. Pierce your needle through the centre mark and bring it up through. Now down to the art of folding the ribbon. Cut your ribbon into lengths. Depending on the width of the ribbon you're using will depend on how long you want to cut your ribbons, but what you're trying to create is this perfect little triangle. So lay the ribbon onto the fabric, bring your needle up through the ribbon so that the edge of the ribbon now is in line with your pencil mark. Take the needle back down, and you've just anchored it at the top, and you want to repeat the process. Using gingham's fantastic because you've got the line on the fabric already. Take it down to the bottom and a stitch. Now that you've got it anchored top and bottom, you can fold the ribbon down to create that perfect right angle. Catch it with a stitch. Now this angle, this line here, should come in line with your pencil. So just use your needle to push it over slightly, line it up, hold it with your finger, and then a stitch. Secure the other side. Take your needle, take it along, secure it with your finger, hold it with your finger, and then a stitch. That's your first piece of folding done. Bring your needle back up at the centre again, turn it over to make sure it is the centre, and then you repeat it so that you have 4 of those to make your first layer. Here's your first 4 for your first layer. Okay, now time for the second layer. This time I'm using a grosgrain ribbon, and it's this wonderful one with little strawberries on, perfect to go with the gingham. I've cut my pieces, and I need to know the distance from the centre to my next tip. So from the centre to my next tip is 1 centimetre. So I'm using a ruler, placing the ruler on at the centre and marking it with a pin. The pin is where you bring your needle up. So turn it over, put the needle where the pin is, make sure it's in the correct place, remove your pin. In the centre of your ribbon again. Secure at the top, secure at the bottom, fold down, now you haven't got a pencil line this time to tell you where to go, but by pulling your ribbon out you can make sure that it's parallel to your other pencil line. All these little stitches are hidden by the next turn round, so you don't have to worry about them at all. So that's your first one of your second layer. Now we want to go there's one of these folded triangles every single one of these points, but we want to do the 4 major ones first, and then you come back and you do the little ones in between. So pin again, measure down 1 centimetre, pop the pin in, and repeat it all over again. The third layer, I'm using this red gingham ribbon. Instead of using a ruler and measuring down, you can also use the ribbon. So lay the ribbon on, making sure it lines up with your pencil marks, and then pop your pin in as before. Making sure it comes up exactly where the pin is. Remove the pin, and we repeat the same process. A little stitch at the top. Now I'm using white thread but against a red ribbon, but as you can see, all your stitching is actually hidden by the next layer. Continue making these triangles exactly the same as you did for the next layer, and you'll get this effect. Now the last final layer, I've gone back to the gingham again. So gingham, strawberries, red gingham. I'm going to measure down with the ruler again this time. It's up to you basically where you put these ribbons. They're nice and easy, wherever you feel comfortable. I'm going for about 3.5 centimetres. As long as they're all the same going round, they'll look even. Come back up, remove the pin, and repeat again. Keeping everything nicely lined up, nice and straight. Fold it down. This fold will line up with this fold. And the same on the other side. So continue going round doing all your major ones, and then the final is these tiny little ones in between. You just add these on as extras, and that builds up your design. You can continue going until you've got a big cushion, but these basic 1, 2, 3, 4 layers fit perfectly into these aperture cards.